Hi, today we are looking at section 3.1, which is side angle relationships in acute triangles. So we're going to relate the ratios of our sides to our angles. So if we don't have a right angle triangle, we can not do basic trig, so we can't just use basic SOHCAHTOA to solve it. Instead, we want to break it into two or more right triangles first. So for example, if I had this triangle here, I might, for example, draw a line down the center of it. Breaking it into two 90-degree triangles. So continuing on with that idea. So if we have this broken into two 90-degree triangles, we'll label some of our sides. So opposite angle B would be side B. Opposite angle C is side C. We'll call this line I put in the center a height, which we'll call H. Now for each equation, we will come up, each triangle will come up with an equation for H. So if this first one, if this is our angle here, this side would be our opposite, and this side here is our hypotenuse. So we have a 90-degree triangle, so that would be sine of our angle is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So in this case, our angle is B, so we have sine of B equals our opposite, which is H, over our hypotenuse, which is lowercase c. Rearranging this to get H on its own, we'd multiply both sides by side length C. So we have C sine of B equals H. So that's for this first triangle here. We will now do the same thing for the second triangle here. So if we're looking at this angle here, this is still our opposite side, but this becomes our hypotenuse. So we'll use sine again. So we have sine of our angle is our opposite side over our hypotenuse. Now our opposite was H, and our angle is capital C, and our hypotenuse is side length B. We want H on its own, so we multiply both sides by B. So that gives us B sine of angle C equals H. So we've now come up with two equations that both equal H. So what we'll do now is combine these equations to come up with an equation that will help solve any non-right angle triangle. So we had C times sine of B equals H, and we also had B sine of C equals H. Now, because that H refers to the same side it's shared between them, that means it must be equal for both of them. So therefore, this H must equal this H. So we can say that C sine of B equals B sine of C. Now I'm going to rearrange this a bit. I'm going to divide both sides by side length C and both sides by side length B. What that's going to do is get all the same letters on the same sides. So that gives us sine of angle B over side length B is equal to sine of C over C. So we've now derived part of an equation that will help us to solve non-90-degree triangles. So we'll look at a couple examples. So first example, use the following info to draw out a triangle and to solve for the missing side. So we have A over sine 53 equals 7 over sine 44. So I'm just going to draw out a triangle. Now, if you notice from what we set up back here, our angle and our side length are in the same fraction for each of these. So if I've got angle A is, let's say, here, or sorry, side length A is there. So we've got side length A, which we'll say is here. Its opposite angle, which would be capital A, would be here, which is 53 degrees. Now we have a side length 7. We know it is opposite an angle of 44. So this is what we can draw out based on the information that we're given. Now what we want to do is rearrange this to solve for A. So first thing I would do is multiply both sides by sine of 53 to get this out of the denominator. And that will give us A on its own. So we have A is equal to 7 sine of 53 divided by sine of 44. And calculating that gives us an A of 8.05. So this length here should be 8.05. Here's another one, but we're going to solve for our missing angle instead. So we have 26 over sine 88 equals 21 over sine B. So we'll start by drawing out our triangle. We'll label based off what information we have. So we have one side length that's 26. Opposite it is an angle of 88 degrees. We have another side length that's 21. Opposite it is an unknown angle of B. Now, if we're solving for something that's in our denominator, our first step is to multiply both sides by it so we can get out of our denominator. So that gives us 26 sine of B over sine of 88 is equal to 21. What we'll want to do now is multiply both sides by sine of 88. So that's going to give us 26 sine of B equals 21 sine of 88. At this point, I would divide both sides by 26. So that gives us sine of B is equal to 21 times sine of 88 divided by 26. If I calculate that, that gives me sine of B is equal to 0.8072. At this point, I will get the angle on its own by doing the arc sine. So that would be B is equal to sine -1 of 0.8072. And we get an angle of 54 degrees.